Hey everyone, welcome back to Eat the Cake Anime. I'm your host, Jay Renee, producer Ron. Hey, how you doing? He's waving. His voice is a little better, you guys, so hopefully he'll be on next week. We wish you a speedy recovery, hun. So yeah, thumbs up to you too. All right, so May, we got the month of May moving really good. You guys, this is Villain Month or Villains Month. We're focusing on the antagonists of animes and other shows that make them compelling while they may not be the strongest people in the show, or while they may not be the standout characters with, heroics and things like that. It's something about these villains that make you go back, and it compels you to keep, trying to figure out what's going on and to go in depth with different animes. Now, when we talk about villains, after last week, I've heard so many people say, well, why don't you talk about, Muzan from Demon Slayer, or Sosuke from Bleach, who is one of the worst villains of all time, by the way. And let's not forget Light Yagami from Death Note. But while we understand all of that, focusing on villains who are not as popular or may not be as well known, but still hold something within the character, whether it's the voice actor, whether it's the storyline that brings this villain to life, is what we're focusing on. Now, like I said before, everybody's familiar with certain animes and certain villains that are very popular. We talked about Demon Slayer, Bleach. There's Tomoro Shigaraki from My Hero Academia. When you talk about Bleach, we talked about, okay, who's the worst villain of all time? Everybody knows Sosuke Aizen. That is a done deal. But then One Piece, you have different villains. You have Crocodile. You have Marshall D. Teach, aka Blackbeard. Awful. But we can't get into those yet because those are shows that we will probably end up doing series on. Like, we'll go in depth, about those later. So my focus this week on villains is something closer to, remember back a couple months ago, we reviewed the anime Monster, and that was during Psychological Thriller Month, got great feedback and things like that. The villain, Johann Liebert, he was in a class by himself. But there is one particular character that reminds me so much of Johann in a way that I never thought about when you're watching anime. And the name of the anime, of course, is Tokyo Revengers. Now, y'all, Tokyo Revengers, this is a whole gang saga, a whole anime drama. It is centered around this young man who traveled back in time. It's an isekai. So he traveled back in time to save his ex-girlfriend, or to try to save his ex-girlfriend, who died when she got involved and mixed up with the local gang, the Tokyo Manji gang. So this young man, they were, all friends in middle school, things of that nature. When he's about to be hit from falling or being shoved off of a subway platform, the isekai happens, okay? So he jumps 12 years back into time when he was dating the ex-girlfriend, who is Hinata. So when he realized he was traveling back in time, he decided he was going to do everything he could to possibly prevent her death. So Tokyo Revengers came out in March 2017 to November 2022. The manga was 5 years, and it was great with 30 volumes. So it was very, very popular. So when it premiered as I want to call it a manga, but it's a series that had so many, different looks. You have the isekai going on. You have the gang stuff going on. You have the love interest. There's so many moving parts, especially when you look at the protagonist, Takamichi. So it's one show or anime that I think that viewers would really, really like, because for one, again, it's one of the best-selling manga series of all time, and it is a great shonen series. Now, the reason why I wanted to get into Tokyo Revengers to talk about this particular villain is because, like I said previously, the reminders of Johann from Monster. This particular villain we're going to talk about today is Kisaki Tetta. Listen, Kisaki was a mess. Y'all, let me tell you something about Tokyo Revengers, and let me just kind of drop the professionalism for a second. My first thing when watching Tokyo Revengers was, where are the parents? Where are the parents? It is just kids. I'm talking juvenile delinquents, and they're in middle school. So when we talk about middle school, age 14, 15, things of that nature. So these kids are doing underground matches. They have gangs, the Tokyo Manji gang. You have so much going on in this show, you really can't look away. Now, when you have all of that, when they were younger, you fast forward to their 26, 27, that's how the series starts. And Takamichi, the ho-hum life, this and that. But all of this is predicated on the Tokyo Manji gang being such a violent organization that was engineered by Mr. Kisaki Tetta. Kisaki started out as a regular member of the Tokyo Manji gang. He was a lieutenant, things of that nature, but his antagonistic nature is so intelligent because he's not the strongest, he's not the most popular, he's not the toughest. So in Tokyo Revengers, y'all, we're looking at gang wars, and Kisaki is relying more on his intelligence than his physical strength. And him being so villainous and calculating with a high IQ, that's the way that he gets others to do his bidding. So it's like you see, once again, the gang war, the Tokyo Manji gang, how it came into prominence and how it ended up being so big and taking over so much, but he ended up running it. The Tokyo Manji gang, otherwise known as Toman, has these different divisions. So everybody's running these divisions, the lieutenants and the soldiers. They're a well-run organization of middle school kids. So you're just like, this doesn't make any sense. You have the leader, Mikey, who is very charismatic and, doing all this stuff, and had a friend, Baji, with so much going on with the big gang war. And, Takamichi was considered like a nobody with his nobody friends, but he and Mikey, they end up, getting together. He earns Mikey's trust. But Kisaki, oh my goodness, the machinations of this young man, the way he created, Valhalla for Mikey to be his leader, and then he ended up, being absorbed into the Tokyo Manji gang. Then you had Bloody Halloween, and Kisaki is the worst. And I say it like that because on the outset, like I said, you see the glasses, you see the, oh no, I'm just here for you. All of the wooing and, hey, I just want to do everything right for you, Mikey. But then it turns out that you're orchestrating most of this stuff. And what I'm saying right now, you guys here at Eat the Cake Anime about Tokyo Revengers and Kisaki Tetta really hasn't even scratched the surface of the show. So that should tell you, with all the moving parts that Tokyo Revengers has, Kisaki Tetta is consistent throughout. And there's a connection between he and Hinata, all of that. This manga got such good reception. The anime series was great. It is something that at the time we were kind of surprised, because you always look at the good versus evil. There's just one guy who wants to do everything right, and then everybody just kind of follows along under the protagonist, and everyone just loves the outcome. But Tokyo Revengers, Kisaki Tetta, oh my goodness, the way he just, I can do everything that I need to do. This villain managed to stay throughout the manga and throughout the series. You managed to stay one step ahead each and every time something was going on, or a layer, was being peeled back. So I think it is a great anime. Tokyo Revengers, they had like the Bloody Halloween arc, they had the Christmas theme one. There's so many different things in the series that I'm not going to say it's something for everybody, because it's not. Because again, one of the things I was saying is, where are the parents during all this? There's one right-hand man that was being raised in a brothel, another whose brother was killed, but they got along good because they loved the bikes. The ones that kind of tried to get under Kisaki Tetta's skin and kind of expose him, but never quite managed to do it. These things took place over a span of a decade and some change, Tokyo Revengers. And in every single episode, you find Kisaki's hand in something, whether it's directly or indirectly. So this is a villain that I say does not get a lot of credit, or doesn't get enough credit, but he should, because Kisaki is one of the main reasons to me why Tokyo Revengers was so good and so popular. So for Tokyo Revengers, you can find it. It's not on Netflix that I can see. We tried to do some looking, and you can find it on different streaming services. It is available on Crunchyroll. If you have Crunchyroll, that's where you can find it outside of Japan and in the United States. Anywhere else, I really don't know. But it is a great anime with a fantastic villain, fantastic storyline, fantastic direction. So check it out if you get a chance, and I recommend it wholeheartedly. Producer Ron, I know he liked it as well. You used to be able to find it on Hulu when we first really got into it. I think you may be able to find it on Disney Plus. Producer Ron is holding up a sign, so you might want to try those places. But hey, that's it for this week. This week's villain, Kisaki Tetta. Check it out. Check him out. Tokyo Revengers. Once again, Eat the Cake Anime. We're so thankful for everyone and their support. Don't forget to like, click, comment, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Shout out to ZMEDIA for all of the editing. Shout out to you, Producer Ron. Thank you for holding it down, even though we can't hear you. So maybe we'll be able to get you to chime in next week. So until then, you guys, don't forget, it is okay here at Eat the Cake Anime. It's okay to enjoy anime.